So this says Timothée Chalamet says societal collapse is in the air due to social media. He gives a different reason than Mike Ruffalo.
It's funny because Timothée Chalamet is scaremongering about the end of the world to promote his movie Bones and All, and then Mark Ruffalo is using doomsday prophesying as a way to tease his role in the MCU out.
So they're like, come check out this movie. The world may not be here when it comes out. Do you really want to miss it?
That's so dystopian when you think about it. Like, come get your entertainment before you can't have running water anymore.
The Bones and All star spoke out regarding the contemporary social emphasis on Twitter and Instagram during a press conference at the 2022 Venice Film Festival. Well, if I thought the world was going to end, I know where I'd be. The Venice Film Festival. That's exactly.
I was thinking, like, this is exactly the audience that you would need to have to say something so stupid and be applauded for it. The Venice Film Festival, really any film festival, is populated by the most annoying people on the planet.
The most pretentious people.
The most pretentious, like, cinephile types.
Oh my God.
Hate it.
The people that I would hate. Because, like...
if you're a cinephile, you're not a movie lover.
No.
Even though it would seem to mean that.
You're a snob.
Yeah, you're just a snob.
So it says Chalamet stars as one half of a cannibal couple alongside Taylor Russell in Call Me By Your Name director, I don't know how to pronounce it, Guadagnino. Luca Guadagnino. Is that?
Guadagnino.
Guadagnino?
Oh, okay.
Well,
Wow.
Cinephile over here.
Look at this guy.
Set in the late 1980s. So it says, to be young today... I can't imagine what it is to grow up without the onslaught of social media, Chalamet stated to Variety. And at least there, in Bones and All, there are these characters wrestling with internal bloodlines. Oh my God, he said vis-a-vis in a sentence.
You're still staring off into the distance. All right, we continue.
Growing up with Instagram, you don't talk. It's bad enough.
He's saying this to a bunch of people, by the way, who did not grow up on Instagram. You grew up on Instagram, Timothée Chalamet.
It's bad enough when they talk like they're a press. Like a press secretary is releasing all of their statements. It's worse when they do it as if an obnoxious press secretary.
You are
is
an
releasing
adolescent on an iPhone.
He's like vis-a-vis. And
you had too much tablet time, my good sir.
Andy would love to read this because of the $5 word. Like, it's not even a $5 word. It's like singing.
He wants to feel like an intellectual around a bunch of people older than him.
Yes. So it's. Growing up with Instagram or Twitter, trying to figure out where they fit in with that. He clarified, I'm not casting judgment. You can find your tribe there. Maybe you shouldn't be looking for a tribe.
True.
I mean, I'm not sure.
But also, social media kind of is built so that you have to fit into a certain category.
That's interesting too, because I actually like the top thing that it says on my Instagram profile is it says individualism over collectivism. And I literally got a message once with a person who wrote like a 12-page diatribe about why collectivist societies worked, and I just wrote dude ... and then just didn't send it. I'm like, you can't respond. You can't talk to people.
Did you read it?
I read the whole thing and it was insane. I mean, it was like I was like.
I mean, that's a conversation for another day.
In the real world, not online.
Yeah.
So it says Bones and All is based on the novel by Camille DeAngelis and adapted by. Okay, so what do we say? Like dystopian Reagan era.
Mm-hmm.
I think post-apocalyptic, but in another era is an interesting angle, but I dislike that he's using contemporary fears of societal collapse or civil unrest or climate change, doomsday talk to promote his movie.
Yeah.
It feels cheap and slimy.
Something so not connected to what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He says that.
Like from the sound of the movie is a teen romance film, which is kind of Timothée Chalamet's bread and butter and what his fan base of teenage girls is looking for.
Yep.
It's not supposed to be something serious.
So it says this is from his director. He says that he's fantastic, a great performer, and I love to see him soaring the way he is doing now. I feel proud of him. And the character is something very new for him, both endearing and heartbreaking. Additionally, he said that the true hope is that the audience doesn't reject the film as a provocation because it deals with a taboo subject like cannibalism. That's a big one in Hollywood recently, too.
They're weirdly focused on taking the stigma away from cannibalism.
They're like, we love Armie Hammer. We need him back in Hollywood.
What is
This is the
on?
Call Me by Your Name director.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's like, look, me and Armie Hammer, we're good friends.
They're tight.
I wonder if they should both, like, you know what he should do is Armie Hammer should like get a job as a producer on Yellow Jackets. Is that the one about the cannibalistic soccer team?
I haven't watched that.
I don't know.
There's a show right now about a bunch of like girls who get stranded somewhere in their like. It's about cannibalism.
Jeez.
Be funny if Armie Hammer like joined as like a producer just for the memes.
We almost talked about the House of Hammer docuseries yesterday, but all I had to say about it was that Armie Hammer is not a cannibal. He is just a nepotism
A dork.
recipient dork who believes that having a weird sexual fetish is a personality trait.
So this was the full quote. He says, yet the Dune actor added, I think it's hard to be alive now. I think societal collapse is in the air. That's why hopefully this movie will matter.
And another thing he said that caught my eye was that story. Okay, he said, only this time in the American Midwest in the 80s about people that are disenfranchised in every way possible. That's the kind of story that he wanted to tell. It's so lacking self-awareness.
How so?
Because in Hollywood, they detest the Midwest. They
hate the
detest
Midwest.
so-called flyover states and everyone who resides in them. Not only that, but they want to own luxury ranches and properties in this area of the country too.
Yep.
Because they're clued into the risks that are involved in living in coastal cities. But they detest Midwestern people, and they also completely disregard the real reasons that those people are disenfranchised. Their hatred and the stigma placed on them being one of those reasons that they're disenfranchised.
They think that somehow them owning property there makes them like them, and it's not, and they're not. Not
right.
at all.
Like the fact that you are like that, that Bill Gates is like buying up farmland doesn't make him a Midwestern or person or even an American.
Yeah.
But it's like the hatred that Midwestern people in flyover states receive from coastal elites,
they think we're dumb,
is part of the reason they're disenfranchised. And you making a movie like this is not a way to speak to their
like
struggles.
Like
you still have no idea what their lives are like.
It's like an accidental cell phone, because what they're really doing is playing themselves cannibals.
Yes.
Not literally, but that's who is, responsible for maybe the people in middle America feeling that way. But it's more of a like, poor me. But if I put the facade that we're Midwestern, it changes what it's about. And also how they view themselves. It's like they're the disenfranchised people. Them, not the Midwest. And even the director saying, you haven't gotten to it quite yet, but that, we're not casting judgment on these two characters for how they are. It's like,
when all they do is cast judgment.
Celebrities and filmmakers and artists believe they're the most misunderstood people in the world.
There was a guy, I don't know if anybody saw it last night, there was a guy on TV, there's a big red background, and he said that like 45% of the people in this country are detestable people, and those are the
literal
people,
basket of deplorables.
Yeah,
tier
he
comments.
said that last night. Okay, now this is the other question I have. Now we're gonna get away from race swapping, gender swapping. That's not the new marketing tool. We're gonna use mass event, like the end of the world is the new marketing tool in Hollywood. So when Aquaman 2 comes out, it's not about who's been race or gender swapped for inclusivity. I want it to be about see the movie about the ocean before your home is swallowed by the ocean.
Yeah.
Like when the new Mad Max movie comes out, they're like, do we really need to explain this one? Come see Mad Max before the world turns back into Mad Max.
Also, dystopian fears about the climate are not the fears that ordinary people in the Midwest have about
they're
the
too
future
busy.
of the country.
Because they're too busy.
They work.
Yeah, they actually have stuff to do. So I'm picturing.
But I hate the people, the artists who, and the elites who think they're the most misunderstood. I hate the fact that they're the ones who propagate the misunderstanding and misconception of ordinary people, and then they act like they're the victims.
Yep.
That's what I hate about
But
it.
there's no way for ordinary people to know how to feel about these events when they come unless they see the movie that tells them how to feel about it.
Right.
Yeah. That's why this film will matter.
So
Because it's propaganda.
So we've got Dungeons and Dragons coming out next year in March. They can be like before you chase the dragon with the opiate crisis. Come see our movie. And then we've got John Wick Chapter 4.
I can't do it
They're
anymore.
like gun violence. Gun violence is very bad. Come see John Wick before you get anonymously shot on the way to the movie theater. Anything could happen at the end of the world with doomsday marketing. There's any number of these movies like Scream 6, knife violence, very big in the UK. Come see Scream 6 before somebody gets stabbed on the streets.
You know something else? A lot of people have talked about post-COVID, like post-pandemic filmmaking and like how different it is, and the type of stories being written are different because of the pandemic and the like psychological effect it had on us and all that. But like, it's really because Hollywood was affected by it so differently than the rest of the country. They believe that it was a cataclysmic event for everyone's psyches.
Yep.
And in reality, a lot of people went back to work immediately or just like started working from home, and it wasn't literally Netflix's The Bubble
Yeah.
for them.
Another
You
movie
know?
that I liked that nobody else liked.
We had to also go back to, we keep mentioning it because it was a realistic story of so many film sets like during peak COVID fear. Sydney Sweeney mentioned that she literally was holed up in a hotel with the rest of her cast without any other people staying at that hotel. They became familiar with like the people working there while they were filming, and they
Thank you.
and they
Woo!
you know, drank all the time, ended every day of filming in the pool together. And it's like, you literally lived in luxury at a time when people could not afford to pay rent.
Oh my God.
And you think you were the most affected by it?
I only had one waiter, and I only had one concierge.
And then they said when people started staying at the hotel again, when
my
they opened
God.
back up, it was like, wow, they're treating the staff so terribly. It feels like we're family with them, and it's just so disgusting. Like, I hate you.
Man.
I hate
These
you.
people, man. They're just like, half our job is.
Sorry
just to-
that they have to have paying customers again.
Yes.
That must be so hard for you.
So I am looking forward to doomsday marketing from here on out. We're done with the race swapping. We're done with the gender swapping. We're done with the virtue signaling. We're now catastrophe.
we're not
done.
We're catastrophe signaling now.
I don't want Civil War, for the record, but Mark Ruffalo and Timothée Chalamet might.
Yes, they might, because it benefits them.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.